Hello, everyone. I'm actually really excited about this presentation. This has evolved over a long period of time, but thankfully we accelerated a lot of development this week to get us where we're at today. So hope you enjoy what we're demonstrating today. Um, Here's the thing that we've had this feature request from a fair number of ACCs and customers, and it all comes down to, using CRM software should make things easier. I know that that seems self-evident to certainly most of the people on this call, but, we proselytize about the benefits of CRM software, making us more efficient, making us more productive, getting more done in less time. Um, and, that's certainly demonstrable on a day-to-day basis, but sometimes there comes along cases where there's a very, very clear case for it. And today's examples, I think you'll find is one. So what we're going to be demonstrating today is how to send out questionnaires. Okay, send out questionnaires to our customers. Now, these questionnaires can come in the form of surveys, or they can come in the form of web forms through either link to surveys or link to forms. They can come in one of those forms, but here's the thing. We want to send them out either as one-offs, or we want to send them out as mass emails. And I got a little surprise at the end. There will be a third way of sending them out, where you get, sorry, I just got to pause because someone, oh, just mute someone here. Okay. You're going to find a third way, but you're going to see how when you send these out, the process is a lot simpler for the recipient to complete those questionnaires, because that's the point, right? I mean, we want them to be completed. So how many barriers to that can we knock down for them to increase the return on our surveys or forms? Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to do that. And the way we're going to do that is through two programs. Okay, well, three programs, but a choice of, you've got Link to Forms, as I said, Link to Surveys down here, and then you've got your choice of the delivery software. And the delivery software works with all three. MailMerge Lite, a one-time cost of $59.95. MailMerge, okay, and these are both the 2.0 versions, by the way. We're not backporting it to support all previous versions, but this is, basically $60, $120, and then these are one-time purchases. And then if you want to get Mail Manager, which actually includes Opt-in Manager as well, which is a subscription, then it's $160.95 or $170 per year. Okay, now I have Mail Manager installed on my computer, so I'm going to show you how it works. But basically, we're going to use these products to send out surveys, okay, from inside of ACT. And the purpose of them is when the recipients get them, they're going to see a link that's going to look like a normal link. They're going to click on it, and that's going to pre-populate all of their contact information into it so that they don't have to enter that in. Now, that's going to obviously eliminate one of the initial barriers, but it's also going to certainly lend the impression that these people are using a little bit more than a spray and pray technology to distribute these things. Each one of these things will create a personalized link. And I'm going to show you how we create that, how we deliver it, and the results of it. So let's get into this. We're going to go to, first thing, we're going to go to my Link to Forms. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to Link to Forms, and there's one little checkbox that you've got to do. So here's where all of my forms are. Okay, now let's say that I want to create something that is a support quote request. Okay, so this is someone that's completed here's support satisfaction survey. So what I want to do is I want to create an email that gets sent out after a support ticket is completed, so that we can poll our customers and see how satisfied they are. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to enable the form to support this. This is not heavy lifting. You're going to see just how easy this is. So we go into the form, click on Edit, General, and we scroll down, okay? And what we do is we click on where is it? Right here. Under Submission Options, allow passing in contact ID to skip filling in contact details, mail merge. Pretty self-evident. If this is checked, it will work. By default, it won't be checked, so make sure that this is checked before you use this one, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go up here. Now that I've selected this, I'm gonna copy the URL, okay? And I'm gonna click on Close, and now I'm going to pull up my contact record, okay? So this is my act, and what I wanna do is I wanna go through the Mail Manager settings, or Mail Merge settings, depending on whatever you install. So the first thing is, after you install it, and as I said, it could be Mail Merge Lite, Mail Merge, or Mail Manager, you click here, and you click on your settings here. This is where you have your basic email server settings. You've got the standard SMTP, but if you are using Microsoft Exchange or Office 365, you'll have to use this and use the OAuth setup. Okay, as most of us have learned, if you're not using an OAuth connection settings, it will fail. And Google uses the same kind of thing. So we've set up both OAuth procedures here. Just select which mail server you're going to use. But if you're not using either one of them, then use basic authentication by just selecting this. Okay. The next one is email settings. Very, very basic. Just, when you're sending out, you want to have a standard footer settings. This is where you put it. Email delivery. This allows you to choose which email field you're going to send them out to. Be careful. You definitely want to use the main field, but if you're using doing a secondary email that's deliberately going out to an alternative email field, then you'll want to designate that here and select it. Okay, but don't use all email fields, because that's going to obviously end up with a lot of people getting duplicate emails. The favorite feature I'm going to show you at the end, very, very cool. Stationary, I just want to cover this. When you send out a stationary email, what that basically means is you can prepare an email for one person or many people, but basically it's not using a template, it's using stationary, so you'll have your signature information, any header information, all of that prepared, and you then write the email on the fly, and then it will merge in the contact information. So it's a merge mail without using templates, okay? Now what we've changed here is that you can now edit with full formatting functions in here. It used to be that you would just have to paste this in from someplace else, but now you can paste it in and then clean it up here, okay, with all the formatting options. So you can format, underscore, hyperlinks, add in graphics, whatever. So we've added a little bit more formatting functions, hoping that people, when they see some of these features, they'll want to use this a little bit more. So we've added in that. So that's pretty much the settings that I wanted to show you for the setup. Okay, so now let's go into the actual settings or creating a template. So once you install Mail Manager, you're going to see this little option down here. So you click on Write, you click on Mail Manager, okay, and then you select Edit, Create Template, okay? Now, when you select this, this is gonna pop up a screen. It's gonna assume that you're gonna open it, but if you're gonna create a new one, just click on Cancel, okay? And then this little screen pops up off screen, but this is your merge field, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, this is a sample customer satisfaction, poorly spelled, survey. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put in the merge field here. It's not really a field, it's actually going to include the Linktivity URL, okay? And the properties of this will also take the contact GUID. This is a webinar mostly for ACCs, so hopefully I'm not talking in terms that people won't understand. But the contact GUID is the unique ID for each contact, and it's going to concatenate them together to create a personalized link. Now, when you look at it, it's not going to look personalized. It's going to look like everyone else. So let's add that in. Under the record type, we're going to click here, and we're going to select Linktivity. We're going to select this, and now we're going to click on Insert. Okay, pretty standard. It's going to say, please enter in the URL you wish to add to the template. Boom. I've copied that from Link to Surveys, and I'm adding that here. Okay, and so this is my support survey, but it's in the Forms section. I'm going to click on OK, and now it's going to say, please enter the display text. And I'm going to say, click to start survey. And that's it. Okay. Now I'm going to click on the close thing because I don't need it. If I need to re-enable it, I can just click here. But I'm going to say, thanks for your time. Keystroke team, www.keystroke.net. Okay, you'll notice when I hit enter, it automatically hyperlinks because this is a rich text editor. Okay, that supports all of that. Now this is, you're going to want to customize this a little bit more, but just please be mindful. Don't put a ton of formatting in here because the more formatting, the more likely it can get caught up in spam filters. Okay, so now I'm going to click on save. And it's going to see, it's going to go into the templates. And what I'm going to say is I'm going to use a double A sample survey. Okay. Now I'm going to save. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close it. So you can see this standard template. Now I'm going to close it and I'm going to open it up again so you guys can actually see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the fields that it's entered. Okay, you've got the hyperlink, the survey, okay, and then it's got the @Linktivity. Thanks for your time. You can see the hyperlink here. Okay, so that's what it looks like after it's saved. Now, got all that. Okay, now let's actually do a merge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my contact, and I'm going to click on here, right, mail merge, and I'm going to click on merge to email. I'm going to show you a better way at the end, but right now we're going to use it the way that it used to work. Merge to email. Okay. Select that. So this is where you go through the merge workflow: current contact, current lookup, all contacts, group, company, opportunity, so on and so forth. Okay. Send now. If you have Mail Manager or Mail Merge, you will have the ability to schedule this at a later date. Okay, so you can actually schedule the send time. I'm going to say now. I'm going to put in my standard subject line. Please. Survey. Okay, now if you are doing these over and over and over and over again, one-off, obviously this will take a moment. You may want to shorten it, but if you're sending out a large survey or large form distribution, then you'll only be entering in this once. The nice thing is that you can also click here, insert field, and have the option to put in, say, a salutation. Okay. So now I've got this you can put in CCs and BCCs, but that's not really relevant to this demo. So now we can put in, change the reply to address, split the sending of emails into smaller batches. Again, this is available with Mail Merge and Mail Manager, not the light version. So the light version doesn't include schedule sends, and the doesn't include additional delivery options like this. Okay, this is where you can have attachments. This is where you can record the history and you can determine what the history will look like. Okay, now, if you're doing a batch job, you're gonna wanna test this just to be sure, okay? Because it's going out to a lot. If you're going to be using the same template over and over again, it just doesn't require much testing. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on test anyway, just to show how this works. It is sent. I'll just wait a moment. Okay, so now, if I go over here, you can see here's my signature information, and here is the start the survey. Okay, so now I'm going to click on here. Internet's been really slow today. Okay, now you can see it. You see how it's pre-populated my information in here? Okay, k.quigley. It's hashed out most of the information because we don't want to creep people out. We just want them to know that they're saving some time. So when they click on it, they're going to have this information pre-populated, but most of the details will be hashed out. Okay, and now they can continue on and go through the quick survey or the quick form. Okay, and they're ready to go. Okay, but that one little step will save them a fair bit of time and actually increase the likelihood that it gets completed, okay? Because people don't like entering in their same information over and over again. If you can technically spare them that effort, they're likely going to, I always say if you respect people's time, they're more likely to give it to you, okay? So here is something where we've saved them a bit of time, and all they've got to do is go click, click, click on submit. People are able to comply with your request with as little effort as possible, and you're rewarded with a higher response rate, okay? So that is it in a nutshell, okay? However, we have added actually, let me just pause and see if there's any questions at this point before I continue on. Any questions? Okay, everyone's being nice to me. Okay, now this is a form. If you were to use a survey, now the difference between a form and a survey is a form will be presented in one panel, whereas a survey is going to be presented in multiple panels because it kind of walks you through an interview-like thing. So what it will do is it will have these fields, and then it will have the I'm not a robot, the CAPTCHA. Okay, so this will be here. We cannot automatically take you into the next pane because that would create a security issue because we would then be bypassing the CAPTCHA. So all they'll have to do is click on I'm not a robot next, and they can start the survey. So they won't have any questions on the first panel, but the contact fields will be pre-populated, and they can just click checkbox and go. Okay. So let's see if there's any questions. So far, no. Okay, so one of the things we anticipated is that if people are doing this and sending these out on one-off basis, they're likely going to be doing it over and over and over again, like several times a day. Let's take the case of a support customer satisfaction survey. You may want to send out that after every single ticket. So if you're asking your technicians to send it out, how can we streamline that process? Well, streamlining the process, and I'm just going to click on cancel here. By the way, the key thing that, having them feed in that information, okay, having it pre-populated, is one, you are sending it directly to them. So this obviously is not going to work if you're publishing it on your social media or on your website. There's no way that you can control the delivery. So if it's kind of omnidirectional, they're going to have to enter that information. But if it's specific point to point or one to many through a merge mail, then we have that capability. But the beauty of that is you are controlling not only that that they don't have to enter that information, but the accuracy of that information. Because if it was delivered to them, we know that that email is accurate, and they're not going to enter in another email, okay, that possibly is different than the one that you have in ACT. Now, why am I mentioning that? Well, the form, okay, when you send it out to them, is going to write back to the history of ACT based on the email that they enter into that form. Because you are sending it out directly from their contact record and pre-populating the email field, then you know that that is going to then write back to the appropriate contact and not to some different contact, or worse yet, create a new contact based on the fact that they've used their personal email to complete a survey, okay? So this is, creating a little bit more data reliability in that it's going to be written back to the contact that you expect it. Okay, so you're not only going to get a higher return, you're going to have higher reliability in terms of the data being harvested. Okay, so this is going to write back to the history. It's going to have all their answers. Okay, you are still, I'm not going to, this isn't a link to forms or link to survey webinar. You're going to, I've shown you guys in the past how you can kind of look at the results, either graphical or KPIs. But this is where it would write it back to history. And the purpose of this way is, not only to save the people time, but increase the reliability of the history recording, okay? So now that we've got that, what about the cases where you've got, technicians or admin staff that may have to send out the same form over and over and over again? Asking them to click on write, mail merge, merge to email, select, and then go through the entire workflow is a recipe for errors, okay? Plus, it's also likely to not get done if there's too many steps. So what we did is we created a shortcut where if you've got surveys or questionnaires or forms that you send out more regularly, then you can use the new favorite feature, okay, where you click here, and now it appears here, where you click on support survey, and it immediately walks you through the mail merge workflow without you having to browse to the to all the templates and navigate through that list and cherry pick them. So this allows you to immediately create a shortcut. How do we do that? We go into the mail manager settings and we click on favorites. And for all you Americans out there watching it, this is how favorites is properly spelled. And so what you do is you just click on add, and you can now add another one, give it any name you want, and it is now added, okay? The only thing that I'm gonna tell you is that, based on some of the rules of ACT, okay, is that you have to restart for it to, restart your ACT for it to show up on the menu, okay? This will create the shortcut, but it does require a restart. I wish we can get around that, but that's kind of what we have to do, okay? So that allows you quick, really short number of clicks to be able to send it out, increase the likelihood that it's going to be completed, increase the likelihood that the data is going to be written back to the correct contact, okay, and increase the likelihood that it's going to be done by the employees because we've just, reduced it by a few clicks and cherry picks, okay? So let me just pause to see if there's any questions before I show you the surprise feature. Okay, so is CAPI still available? CAPI, so I was asked here, okay, is CAPI still available for ACT Pro users? It is, so for people that are not aware, CAPI is our keystroke API. However, we are minimizing the support for it because based on our partnership with ACT, our priority is the web API ACT Premium subscribers. We built it, okay, but people will need a support plan. It's really not a big market because the ACT Pro market is one, it's a minority, but two, the standard profile of ACT Pro users typically are residential employees or small work groups that don't have typical IP support, so they don't have the ability to have a static IP, a dynamic DNS, or support an SSL certificate. So if they check all of those boxes, then yes, okay, but they would need support typically from a consultant to implement the rest of it. So the answer is a qualified yes, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time marketing to it. Any other questions? Okay, I see MM here, loves the spelling. I think you should add use to all the words in the American lexicon. Okay, Karen asks, having the contact info pre-populated makes it easier for people to respond. Yes. Do you have any suggestions on indicating how easy it is to fill it out in the email so that they can click the link? We create a link. All they got to do is click on it. So Karen, you may Slack me afterwards because I'm not sure I'm getting that question, because we're creating one link for them to click on. As you can see from the template, it looks like it's not a personalized link, okay? And we've used hrefs, so there isn't some long ugly URL that not only is going to make people scared to click on it, okay? We've used display text in its place, but also will be less likely to be interpreted as spam. Okay. How can you encourage them to fill it out? Look, if they're happy, okay. I rely on general human instincts. If you've delivered good service, I find that people are more likely to provide feedback. If you deliver a terrible service, they're equally motivated to it. If it's just meh, then that's going to be an obstacle to overcome. But they typically respond positively to these opportunities to provide feedback. Okay, I wish I can give you a more technical answer, but it's kind of a human thing. Okay, so let's talk about the surprise here. Now, one of the things that, okay, I've got one more question. Is only working with team version? No, this is not a team thing. This is working with any link to form or link to survey, team or standard edition. Good question. I didn't specify that. Okay, so the one other surprise is if you have ever used the notifier, then you have noticed that just click on here, that this looks exactly like the template editor that is in the notifier. The reason it looks the exact same, because it is the exact same. So why do we care about that? Well, we care because the forms that I just showed you how to create can also be used in conjunction with the notifier. So you can create them here and then use them in the notifier to automate the delivery of this. So I just went through and was talking about how you have to manually do all the click-throughs, and even showed the favorites, the shortcuts. Well, now you don't even have to do that with the notifier, okay, which I will tell you in the next 2 weeks, we'll be releasing a whole new version of the notifier, okay, much more simpler to use, much friendlier user interface with more wizards, more features, things like that. But the notifier will allow you to do lookups of, say, show me all the people that I had closed tickets with yesterday and send them out this customer satisfaction survey. Show me all the people that I had transactions with yesterday, okay, and it will then send it out to them post-purchase satisfaction. So you can do all kinds of things relating to this. You can even do it based on renewals. You can do it based on any number of things, any date fields, any number of ways that you can look up and send them out a customer satisfaction or any kind of form that solicits their feedback, so that you can have a better understanding of how your customers are receiving your service and get the feedback that you need to make better business decisions. So this is now a new way where a lot of the times we were talking about how to manually do it, how to reduce the clicks, both for the users and for the recipients. Now we can actually do it so there's no clicks at all, where the notifier can actually send these things out automated and generating those personalized links because it's template based. Okay, it's not a workflow based, it's template based. The contact GUID and the form URL are concatenated together in the template. So when you send out the template, that information will be merged on delivery. Okay, any questions on that? Guys, I think that this is incredibly cool in terms of what we can do to elevate the service, but not only our service, but this is what I think customers are looking for. Okay, and I'll give you an example. I had a customer the other day. I was explaining this to. We all, as active consultants, or maybe we sell other CRMs, and we tend to kind of succumb to this inside baseball notion where everyone knows what we know. Okay, and everyone knows all the different varieties of forms and surveys and CRMs out there, when in reality most of our customers use ACT because that's all they've ever used, and they want to get the most out of what they already know. This allows them to do that. So we're going to be able to show them how they can deliver customer satisfaction surveys, questionnaires, anything, okay, that's using the kind of technology that will impress them and their customers. And why not? I mean, they're using a CRM that we're endorsing, and we're rewarding them with saying, look at the technology that this ACT can support, okay, in concatenating all of this information so that people get a survey or questionnaire that's pre-populated and increases their likelihood to get completed. People love this. And when you talk about general delivery, where they post it on their website and it feeds it into their database and triggers responses and things like that, all of that we think is kind of ho-hum. But to the average mom and pop user that are 1 to 10, okay, that's black magic. Okay, and that's the kind of thing that will reward them for their subscription and increase stickiness in doing so. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. So let me just double check if there's any questions. Okay, comment, very good. Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'll wrap this up. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be releasing more and more information on this as time goes on. I just want to make sure that I show you guys here on our website, if you want to see the blog that we just wrote about this, definitely take a moment to review all of this. We've included little snippets, and that's about it. So I hope that you guys found this useful, and have a great weekend. Thanks for your time.